Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Lisa Horton Crafts. I'm Sheryl, and I will be sharing an easy and elegant Christmas card today made using some of Lisa's fabulous products. I hope that you're having a good day, and thank you so much for joining me this evening. Well, it's evening here in we're on the other side of the pond, and here in the U.S. it's afternoon. But let's go ahead and get started. It looks like I have a few people already joining, so we will just go ahead and move along. The first product that I'm going to talk about, I'm using the Spellbinders Better Press plate and die set. This is the Essential Tag Accessories, and I'm going to be using this die here, and we're not going to use it as a tag. We're going to put it on a card. So we have that, and then from last week, I'm still using the Bold Poinsettia Bloom layering stencils and 3D embossing folder. And for my cards, I've got, or for my inks, inks, okay, cards. Yes, I can talk and make sense at the same time. This is the solid gold metallic ink and the Jingleberry matte blending ink and the Swift Dry hybrid ink in coffee bean. So those are the inks that I'm going to use today. Let's see, I got one comment. Hi, Jean. How are you? I hope you're having a good day so far. So to get started, we're going to be starting out with the Better Press. So I'm going to move this off to the side and I'll bring in my Better Press and get that out of the way. So this is an A5 card that we are going to be using today. And let me show you the sample. So this is the Christmas card that I made using these products. And I'm also going to use the re-inker for the solid gold. So I didn't share that at first, but that's also part of what we'll be doing. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit so it doesn't have all that glare from the overhead light. Okay, so this is a 5x7 card. And what I'm going to do is, since it's an A7 size card, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on my plate here. And it doesn't really matter what side you use, actually. So I'll just put that down, and I'm going to put some tape, just a little bit of tape. I'm going to actually push this in half and tape that down just because I don't want this paper to move once I started. And I'm not using any special paper. This is just plain white cardstock, but you can use if you want a deeper impression, you can use the cotton watercolor paper, or I think Spellbinders sells a different color paper. So that's my card stock taped to my top, and then I'm going to use um, my little press plate here. This is a teeny little press plate that's going to put those holly leaves on, and I just want to make sure that my plate is lined up with my card size. This is the A7 card size. It's actually upside down. Maybe that might make it easier for everybody. So I'll start up here because I'm going to start in this top right corner. And this grabs these pieces, even the smaller ones, pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up with the solid gold ink. And it's going to go everywhere, but it'll clean up nicely. Once I'm done, I'm going to wipe a little bit of it off, but I'm not going to worry too much about what's on the platen because it's not going to hit my card. But And I think everything is covered. So I will flip my cardstock over and run it through my die cut machine. And I'm going to do that for all four corners to get that beautiful holly image onto the cardstock. And the thing I like about Better Press is it's pretty foolproof. And if you mess up once, you can do it again. So that came out nicely. So we're going to leave our paper on the platen, on the, I don't know if it's the chase or the platen, but I'm going to then do this corner. Is that right? No. There we go. And make sure that it's as straight as you can get it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just want to get it straight. And we'll ink that up again. And again, I'll show you when I'm done how easily this ink will come off of this. But even if you can't get all of the ink off, you can see mine is well loved. And so you just want to flip that back over and put it down. And I'll run it through the die cut machine. Rinse and repeat, as they say. Okay. Okay, so we got two corners now that are done. And here you can, I don't know if you can see, but my tape is covering up part of that image. So I'm going to move that tape over. Try not to move that too much. Well, you know what? I moved my paper, so I don't want to chance it. But just be cautious of that, and be careful when you lift your tape. If this happens to you, just be careful. I'm going to leave that because I don't want to over ink it. And that happened to me before, and I just wasn't thinking about it. And so we're going to move it down to this corner. Wait, before I do that, let me put some tape back on this. Okay, we're going to ink that up again with this gold. It's so pretty and shiny, even on the little details. Stay where I put you, please. Thank you. Get some of that ink off. And that looks fairly straight to me. There. And then we'll put this back on, do the next corner. Hi, Carol Lamb from North Carolina. I hope you're having a good day, good weather down there. I'm not looking for any good weather this way for quite a while. Okay, so we got that corner, and then we have one last corner to do over here. Dun-dun-dun. I'm telling you, this metal is really strong, and that's a good thing. Okay, and then we'll take our ink and ink that up again. Okay, remove some of that. And one last time. Make sure I got that. Yep, I got the right corner. Sometimes I don't pay attention to how I set it down, so I have to double check and make sure it's going to, because As you see, it inks on the opposite side of where you think you are when you flip that paper over. Okay, so we should have all four corners, and we do. Very good. Now I'm going to show you how easily this cleans up. I've just got some water in a bottle, and oops, let me cover up my ink before I go spraying water. And all that gold will just wipe right off very nicely. Okay, so we'll move this out of the way, and we'll bring our inked cornered panel back in, and I'm going to use some of the solid gold re-inker, and I'm just going to put some ink on this stamping block. Oh, cold and rainy there, Carol, huh? Okay. And I'll just put a few drops on. I'll put more than I always use more than I need, but that's okay. And just wet that up a little bit. Ink up my brush here. And I'm just going to spatter all around. And I want some bigger spatters. So I'm going to add more ink and more water and do it again. Just a teeny bit there. Okay. There we go. Got some bigger ones. And once you have it spattered the way you like it, we'll just sit that over to the side and let that dry while we finish up the next part. We're going to do a little bit of stenciling. So I'll bring in my, clean up a little bit of my spatter mess here. And I'll bring in my tacky mat, and let's start with our stenciling. I'm using Jingleberry ink for the stenciling. And we're just going to do the flower for today's card. So the stencils, there are 5 stencils in this set. And the first 2 are the leaves. So we're not going to use those. So we'll start with stencil number 3. And we'll stencil our flower. So get my paper there. Okay. All right. So we'll bring in, let's see, got our Jingleberry here. Move this over out of the light some. And we'll just start stenciling. And just using one color flower. And I'm pretty much going to use the same method that I did when I used this this stencil last week. I did Arctic Frost, and I just want deep color right at the tips and around the edges, and then we'll lighten it up in other places as we ink this up. But using that deep around the edges just adds a little extra definition. You're going to get a ton of definition anyway from the stencils, but this just adds a little bit of variety in the leaves. And once I've gone around and gotten my darker outline, then I'll work on the center. But this goes really, really quickly. and so relaxing. I just really enjoy stenciling, and I'm not very good at coloring, but stenciling is much, much easier. Okay, so I've got a pretty rich, deep color around the edges. And then I'm going to take just a brush and give it some color, a lighter coating of color for this layer. And then we'll add a little bit more color on the next layer. This layer is going to be when you put the embossing folder in, this light color is what's going to show up. So there we go with this stencil. You can see I washed my tacky mat. It's nice and tacky now. Okay, and stencil number 4. And we're pretty much going to do the exact same thing. And I am going to tape off this little corner, not because I'm going to use it, but when I do my die cut, I want that little piece to stay white. So there's a little rim around the die cut, and if I don't, where's my little pokey tool? If I don't cover that up, that little rim will have a little jingleberry spot on it that I don't necessarily want. Okay, so there we go. And then we'll just go back through and do what we did the last time. Deeper color, deepen that color a little bit more around the edges. And then this time we want to go down the center where these flower definition is and add a little bit more color there. But going all the way around, just adding a little extra color around those edges. Get that a little deeper. And go around, get this one all the way down. And just adds a little bit more definition there. And then I want to get this part here. It's a little deeper at the center. I agree, Evelyn. Lisa stencils really make it look like you're an artist when you're not. And one of the many reasons I love her products. Hi, Nan from Glasgow. I hope I said that correctly. And I think that's pretty good. And then we'll pick up some of this ink here and go back over everything, adding a little more color, blending that in a bit. And then we've only got one other stencil to do, and we'll be done with the stenciling. Lift this up. And here's the last, and we're going to add the detail on the leaf. And I'll just use my little brush for that. And Gonna make this pretty dark, I think, this time. Last week I didn't really put a lot of color on these details, but this week we're gonna load them up with color. And even in the center here, put a bunch of color there as well. Oh, get a little froggy voice here. Excuse me. And I'll just keep going. Adding that Jingleberry all the way around on the leaves. Not going to worry about the other parts that are off the leaf. But we want to make sure we get those leaves colored in. And then I'm going to do, just like I did last week, I'm going to die cut it and emboss it. Actually, I think I'll emboss and then die cut and emboss again. I just like that. I don't know why. Because you don't need to do it that way. You can die cut it and then emboss it and be done. One of the things I find when I do it that way, if you have trouble getting your die cuts straight, doing it that way helps a lot. And it also helps when you're trying to line that image up for the first time. When you're embossing that first time, if you do it with the die cut, it's just easier for me with a bigger piece of paper than with the little one. Okay, so that's it. Hi, Beverly, how are you? Okay, so there is our poinsettia, and we're just going to bring in the embossing folder. Close that off and move this out of the way because we are done with the khaki mat on our Ultimate 2 for now. And then we'll go ahead and emboss this. Get my folder open, make sure I've got it the right way, and I do, and then just line it up. And you don't have to worry when you are lining this up. You'll see on the embossing folder it looks like you missed some leaves, but when you go to die cut them, they won't be there, and you'll see that in just a second. But I thought when I did this the first time, I thought I had missed some coloring on the stencil, and I really didn't. Okay, so I think that's lined up. I keep moving it. I'll get it lined up and then I move it. Okay, there we go. So we got that, and I'm going to go ahead and run this through my embossing folder. I have to change out some plates here. Grab the embossing folder plate. And then we'll take that out. And look at all that beautiful texture. Isn't that pretty? I love the texture of her 3D embossing folders. So then we'll bring in the die for this one. There's 2 dies that come with this embossing folder. And we'll just put that on there and get it as even around as you can. That looks pretty even. Let me get my tape before I get it lined up properly, so it'll be easier. And I'm just gonna, I use the tape just to keep it from moving when I run it through my die cut machine. How many of you are excited about Lisa's new die cut machine that's coming in January? I am really excited to see that and get my little hands on it. I decided I'm going to save my Christmas money. I'm assuming I'll get Christmas money. I usually do from my closest friends and my daughter. Okay, so we have that, and we'll just go ahead now, change my plates and die cut that. And we'll come back one more time and emboss it after we die cut it. And then we'll be ready to assemble our card. Nice and easy. Like that. Get out of the way. And I try to be really careful when I put tape on my thing, and I miss this corner here. So I might have to take a little ink blend, add that ink back over where I wasn't paying attention where my tape was going. Because I try not to get tape on my inked image. And we did get a little there, but it's okay. And then we will take this image then, and we'll die cut that, or die cut, we'll emboss it one last time. And this is really easy to line up because it's been die cut before, so it just kind of pops in place, which is great. And so we'll move our plates and run this through one more time. And like I said before, you don't necessarily need to do it that way. You can die cut it and just emboss it once. Well, wait a minute. Oh, I was like, I couldn't figure out why my machine wasn't going. I had an extra plate on there that I didn't need. There we go. That's better. Okay, so now we've got our beautifully embossed image there. And we're going to bring back in this piece and our card base. And this is just a 5x7 card base in white cardstock. And we'll add, I'm sure this is, yep, it fits pretty good. So we'll add our card base to our card front and then finish it off. Nice and easy. This is, I've got 2 more cards to make and I will be all done with my Christmas cards. And that's a first for me, I'll tell you. I'm usually well into the month before I finish up my cards. Almost at the point of praying that they're going to get there before Christmas. But this year, thankfully, I'm ahead of the game. So I'm really glad about that. Okay, so there is the card base. And then we're just going to put this on. I'm going to pop it up with a little bit of foam tape. So, because I want to fluff those edges of the flower a little bit. And we'll just put that down there. And then just angle it on there, whatever. Uh-oh, I had ink on my finger. Let's see if I can. There we go. I can angle it a way that that doesn't really show. Does that look upside down? No, it looks upside down. I don't know which is worse, to let that little piece show. Okay, what are your thoughts? Do I worry about that little piece? I'll leave it the way I want it. And then, okay, so that's the way I want it. And I'll deal with that with an eraser. I should be able to get that off. And so now that I have that on there, I try to be careful and make sure my nails don't have ink on them, but some of the time I miss it. And this is one of those times. But then I'm just fluffing up these, taking my fingernail and just, you can do a bone folder just to fluff these flowers out just a little bit. Okay, and then we'll take our sentiment. This is from the Paper Society box. I think it's box number 61. You can find it on Lisa's website, and there's lots of goodies in that box, but this stamped sentiment is one of them. And I stamped this sentiment in the coffee bean Swift Dry hybrid ink because I wanted a dark color, but I didn't want black. And I thought, well, let's give this a try. And I like the way it looks with the red and the gold. So that's what we did. And put that looks pretty straight. Okay, and then the last thing I did was, move this out of the way. I added a little bit of, I don't know what these things are. I got them off a scrapbook, but they're like stickles. And this is absolutely optional. To just put a little bit of that in the center. If you had a glitter pen or something like that, you could use that as well. But just to give that center, I'm trying not to have it come out too fast because I just want a teeny weeny bit. And some of the time it'll come out in globs. So I'm trying to be careful. But I don't think I have to worry about globs because I'm having trouble getting it to come out at all. There we go. Just a little bit, teeny weeny bit. Because I don't even know if the camera can pick it up, but it's just the teeniest bit of little shimmer there on the center. And I want to get my ink eraser here and get rid of that. I'll get it, or at least get it to the point where it's not so noticeable. Yeah, got it. It's a little better. And worst case, I can take a little pen and put the ink in there. But I love these mono erasers. If you don't have one, make sure you add one to your stash because it'll save you. Just takes a little bit of time, but you can get that extra ink off of there. So there we go. So that is today's project. I do thank you so much for stopping. I hope that you are enjoying all of the fabulous shows that Lisa has going on this week. I think Catherine is back again on Wednesday and Claire is back tomorrow. So thank you for stopping. I hope that you have a fabulous week. Be sure to share your makes on Lisa's Facebook group, Crafting with Lisa Horton, and have a fantastic week. That's it for now. Bye.